still too hot. Lakeyshakeysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeyshakeysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. See, bell, it's nothing. Got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeyshakeysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop.
Hey, guys, come on in. So we're just trying to get the news as to if Sean Diddy Combs is going to be released on bail. Because as we spoke about in the last video, the most serious crime, which was the RICO, the sex trafficking, he was found not guilty. So what the judge has asked is for the prosecution as well as the defense submit him a letter and let him know what are they requested. Now, keep in mind, the defense wants him released because y'all know they tried to get him released before. It just didn't work because the prosecution was saying he is so scary. You know, he's a big, scary black man and he shouldn't get out because he's dangerous. Well, you cannot continue to say that a person is dangerous because one of the merits in which they said he was dangerous was that they were sure he was going to be convicted. Well, he was not actually convicted of that. And now they need to let this man out. Like, you need to let him out. He was not convicted. He followed everything that he was supposed to. While he did get convicted of the transportation to engage in, y'all know, the prostitution, he did get that one. That was not a serious, that's not a serious one, okay? Yeah, so wait, did I say that correctly? Let me make sure I said it correctly, y'all. Let me look at my notes. Let me look at my notes. So I'm sorry, y'all. He did not get convicted of that. Let me retract that. So he didn't get convicted of the transportation to engage. He actually got convicted of transportation of the workers, which is the less severe crime. So we're waiting around to see, are they going to let him out on bail? Because essentially, he wasn't convicted of those higher crimes in which, he was charged with originally. Girl, you rock. You bring good content. I truly enjoy how you explain everything. Thank you. Let me put that on there. I truly enjoy how you explain everything and not only the Diddy case, your other videos. I appreciate it. And I'm just not biased. I originally had started watching the Diddy case, but I became so uninterested because everybody was like, Diddy going to jail, Diddy going to jail. Okay, that's fine. But what I learned is when people were covering the case, they were so biased and they were so lying to y'all. So I was over it. So if you guys, will scroll YouTube, you have all of those people that were out in, not Los Angeles, New York, reporting on the story, and 99.9% of them was lying. They were telling y'all that Diddy was going to jail simply because they wanted to feed into that algorithm of Diddy going to jail algorithm, right? Instead of telling y'all the truth. But the facts of the matter is they never had a case that was provable. Even when I bounced from different channels, I will pull out information from different channels. And ultimately, what I would see on a given day, you would see the prosecution one, you would see the defense one, and then it would be the defense had a bad day, then it would be the prosecution had a bad day. So essentially, what the jury has come to is they didn't believe Cassie. They didn't believe Jane Doe, which is very interesting because I didn't either. I believe that they told some truth, but they also told a lie. And if you guys were paying attention to the case, what the judge said, that if you feel like somebody is lying, you don't have to believe anything they say. So that's just that on that. So make sure you guys are hitting the like button. I really appreciate that if y'all go ahead and hit the like button. So let me check and see what is going on. All right, so let me check. I don't see that anything is happening. They're trying to get him out on bail. Essentially, let the man out. I mean, he's went through the trial. You know, there's a lot of mad people because for some reason, him going to prison was gonna make their life better. For some reason, Diddy going to prison was gonna make a lot of people life better. I don't know how. Okay, so let's talk about his conviction, Combs' conviction. Here's what those 2 counts allege. While the jury acquitted Sean Diddy Combs on the most serious charges, it found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in the nasty. Y'all know what that means. Each carrying a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. So I was right the first time. I thought I said the wrong thing. So with the transportation to engage in prostitution, it carries, excuse me, it carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. Now, what that means is it doesn't have a mandatory minimum. Now, if y'all familiar with that, when we're talking about federal court, some sentences has a mandatory minimum. Excuse me. A mandatory minimum mean it doesn't matter what the judge think, the judge got to give you that time. So these 2 cases that they found him guilty, there's no mandatory minimum. So the judge can pretty much say time served, okay? Now let's take a closer look at his convictions. The 2 transportation charges accuse Combs of transporting his then girlfriends, cassieventura and Daphnejoy, as well as male escorts across state lines for the purposes of selling a cootie cat or they ding dong. I mean, that's what it says. Well, that's not what it says, but y'all get it. One charge related to Cassie, whom Combs dated from around 2007 to 2018. The other involved Daphne, who testified under a fake name. You know, her fake name was Jane Doe. Now, she dated him between 2021 and 2024. Now, Daphne testified about accompanying Combs to what she called hotel nights, which she engaged in encounters with male entertainers, often in a hotel room with Combs. Now, Cassie testified about participating in similar encounters, which Combs referred to as freak-offs. Jane testified she and Combs had hotel nights between May 2021 and October 2024 in a variety of different places, different states, including LA, New York, Miami, Turks and Caicos. Similarly, Cassie said the freak-offs took place in some of those locations as well as in other cities such as Atlanta and Las Vegas. So this is why he was charged for pretty much flying these SEX people that was coming to have SEX with them, for pretty much flying them out. That is what he is charged with. That's the only case, the only 2 cases that he got. And I spoke about him paying for this on an American Express. There were times where they say he actually paid for it. I know there were other times where, you know, Cassie took care of it and maybe she had his credit card. I'm not sure. But Cassie testified some escorts participated in freak-offs in multiple states. They were paid between $1,500 and $6,000 afterwards in cash, provided by Combs, she said. Her testimony was bolstered by various records present in court, including flight records, American Express charges, and hotel invoices. Now, this is what I said on my last video. I said Cassie was taking a lot of notes, which tells me that I feel like her suing him was something she was building up for, because I don't understand how anybody can remember all of this stuff. The jury also watched explicit footage of, now this says SEX explicit video footage of Ventura and Jane engaging in SEX acts with male escorts. The videos line up with the dates of many flight records and hotel invoices. The prosecution said the defense argued there wasn't sufficient evidence that the escorts and entertainers were paid for SEX. Now, this is opposed to just paying them for their time. If y'all recall, Diddy's attorneys were saying, hey, they were not paid for SEX. They was pretty much just paid for their time. Now, this is what Diddy's lawyers were trying to say. Now, last week, trial attorney and legal analyst Misty Maris said these about the two transportation charges. I'm sorry. She said this about the two transportation charges. So pretty much the transportation charges were already proved. So we kind of suspected that, for the simple fact, if I pay for something on my credit card and you have proof that I paid for it, that's proven. And ultimately, these were the only charges that the jury found he did. The jury found nothing with regards to this S trafficking, nothing with regards to Cassie's case, nothing in regards to this Jane Doe case. They did not find a RICO. They didn't find it. So if you mad, be mad at your mama, because listen, they didn't find it. You know, I know a lot of people on YouTube, there's a 99,000 videos saying that Diddy going to jail. Well, if he do go to jail, it will not be for those charges, and the charges that he has been convicted of has minimal jail time. He does not have anything on his record. He has never been convicted of this. So let's just hope this man goes home and gets on with his life. So we're looking for any updates, y'all, with regards to in terms of if they're going to let him out. So that's what I'm looking up now to see if the judge has made any recommendations. Let's see here. What do y'all think? Do you all think that the judge is going to let Diddy out? Let me know y'all thoughts. What do you all think? Do you think so? What do you think? Listen to this, y'all. The prosecutors are so mad. I mean, it must be hard to be that mad. Listen, they didn't convict him of this, so get over it. So what I'm reading is the prosecutors said they will ask for Combs to be sentenced to consecutive 10-year terms, the maximum time for his 2 guilty counts. But how much time he spends in prison remains to be unseen. So let me make sure y'all understand. The 2 charges that he was convicted of, they do not carry a mandatory max, which means the judge can say time served. So the prosecutors are saying that they're going to ask for the max. So the prosecutors are saying they're going to ask for the max on the 2 charges, which is 10 years, but they're going to ask that it be served consecutively. So they want him to serve 20 years. That's what they're going to ask the judge. Yes, they are bugging. Like, they have a hard on for Diddy, and it's really not that serious. So you want him to serve 20 years for sleeping with a SEX worker, or come on now, he was not convicted of all of that other stuff. So this is what they're saying, these bitter Betty prosecutors. Okay. But of course, it is up to the judge to kind of decide that. I don't think the judge is going to do that. I just don't. Like, he was not convicted of it. Y'all case was a shit show. And he was found not guilty. And it's pretty much over. You can't retry him. You can't come back and try to bring these charges on him. It is over. I'm not mad, because look at the president. He done so many crimes. You don't see him going to jail. Exactly. Like, the man went before a jury and he wasn't guilty of it. So what the hell else do these people want? Right. They're bugging. They mad that their 95% conviction rate will drop after this. Now they want consecutive. Exactly. Consecutive. These two were the two most hideous charges, because it didn't really carry any jail time. Right. They need to give him time served and let this man go home. Like, first of all, the entire trial was a shit show. You wanted to embarrass him. You wanted to humiliate him. Now you didn't get the conviction you wanted. So now you're going to say, well, yeah, just have him serve 20 years for sleeping with or having so basically you want him to serve 20 years for paying for SEX workers transportation and having them fly out, because keep in mind, they did not find him guilty of any of the other stuff. So that means he flew them out to be with Cassie. He flew them out to be with Jane. That was the only thing they convicted him of. So come on now. Come on, people. We're not sending nobody to prison for 20 years for that. They said, oh, wait a minute. Let's see what his friend says. So we found, when is this? Let's see. Okay, do you guys remember this guy? He's a friend of Diddy.
What were the vibes in the van when you guys came out of the court after hearing the verdict?
Everybody was excited and still shocked, but everybody's just happy that that the jury got it right, man. That's what it restores faith back into the the justice system, like that was good.
Are they hoping to be out today? I got a good look at her. She was really wet. She was really crying. How was she in the car once she got in, once she heard the verdict and everything?
Everybody's emotional. It's an emotional moment. You know what I'm saying? And we just give it all to God. That's it.
For you,
are they hoping to be out today?
Every day since the trial started. Yeah. What was your emotion as the jurors were, the verdict was being read by the jurors?
I cried. And I cried because it's my brother up there, and you never know how it was going to go. Follow me. Then when I heard,
you said you cried?
Yes, I did. When I heard,
you know what?
That's good. That's good.
Is his family hopeful he'll be out today? Is his family hopeful he'll be out today?
Strangers are fans and haters are people you know.
Okay, for those of you that might not know, he's like a good friend of Diddy. He's been there like every single day, to my understanding. And they were pretty much just asking him, how did the family feel, with regards to the verdict. Of course, they happy. Like, this has been a long time coming. It says cafeteria food never tasted so good for Janice Combs as she went to grab lunch before court resumed. When someone asked if she was happy about the mixed verdicts that generally favored her son, the defendant's mother said, "Yes, I was happy. Wouldn't you be happy?" The cafeteria was packed with courtroom spectators. The elder Combs shook hands with them before walking to a table with the defendant's family and friends. Well, y'all know who really had something to say? 50 Cent, y'all. 50 Cent. 50 Cent continues to troll. Longtime Combs rival 50 Cent has had a crude take on Combs generally. Good morning in federal court today. He posted an apparently AI generated image of him smiling and made an off-color remark while comparing Combs to late mob boss John Gotti. Diddy beat the Rico. That boy a bad man. 50 Cent captioned the photo, apparently referring to the Rico Act charge. 50 Cent is so childish and needs to get a life. So childish. Can you guys make sure you are hitting the like button? Well, I know TNT. That's what we're talking about. They're trying to get him released. Did you say they having it at 5 p.m.? I thought they said they was coming back at 1. How they gonna have a bond hearing at 5 o'clock? So they're having it at 5. Let me check. They don't. I mean, this doesn't even say in my notes here. Let's see. Because the judge was telling them that they need to put letters and stuff together, and they needed to have it to the judge by 1 p.m. Now you're saying that they're coming back at 5 o'clock. I guess we'll have to see, but I don't see. I'm just like checking my little sources here to see if they're. Yep. I see it now. So it looks like they changed it, y'all. I see it now. Just now they updated it. It says Judge Subramaniam set Combs bail hearing for 5 p.m. today. So if the defendant does get out on bail, it probably won't happen until later today. The government is seeking to keep Combs in custody until sentencing. What is wrong with this government? Why do he need to continue to stay in jail? A bunch of bitter ass, like, what? Why? Why does he need to stay in jail? So they're gonna have it at 5. It looks like. Originally they said come back at 1, but of course the government don't want him to be released. However, the defense offers a $1 million bond to surrender his passport. Which, damn, why does he have to pay a $1 million bond? Combs' attorneys formalized their request to have Combs released on a secured $1 million bond co-signed by his mother, sister, and eldest daughter. This letter to the court insists that Combs has been a model prisoner over the last several months and poses no flight risk. They asked for a bail package that would include Combs agreeing to surrender his passport to pretrial services and restricting his travel to Florida, California, New York, and New Jersey, meaning those are the only places he can travel. Mr. Combs stands convicted of 2 Mann Act accounts, and his sentencing exposure is substantially lower than when the government initially sought detention. Remember, y'all, I said that. I said the good thing about this now is he was convicted, but he was not convicted of all of the crazy stuff that they originally were like, no, we don't want to give him bail because he's being convicted of these crimes, which include trafficking, and we feel like he is going to be convicted. So what his attorney is saying, listen, he wasn't even convicted of that. He was not convicted of those crimes, which means it lowers any, consensus that they had, which, they were saying, oh, he's a dangerous man. He's more than likely going to be convicted. He wasn't convicted. Okay. He wasn't. The letter said the court should release Mr. Combs on the proposed conditions. I gotta agree. Like, what do y'all think? I have to agree. I mean, he went to trial. He was not convicted of that. What y'all think? Right. This man been in jail for 9 or 10 months. I mean, and in all honesty, yeah, they could have let him go home. He would have went home, and guess what? It would have been the same result as it is now. So you basically made him stay in jail for 10 months. If the judge don't let him go, they need to get the Court of Appeals or somebody involved because they got to let him go. I don't see that. 5 p.m. Where did you see that? It's here. I'm gonna share it with y'all. Let me share it. Let's see. Let me share it with you. So I'm gonna scroll up. You wanted to know. There it goes. You see it? It's right there. Bail hearing set for 5 p.m. Judge 𝐸𝐫𝐻𝐸𝐵𝐻𝐸𝐾ombs bail hearing for 5 p.m. today. So if the defendant does get out on bail, it probably won't happen until later today. The government is seeking to keep Combs in custody until his sentencing. You see it? So yeah, I think that he's going to get out. All of the things that they originally raised with regards to him being charged with these heinous crimes, he definitely did it. We're possible, we know that we're going to convict him. All of that is alleviated now. Kay says, I can't say. It all depends on how this judge moves. Oh, yeah. And how they normally rule. I don't put anything past the government. Yep. That's what I'm saying. If the judge, but I don't know, judging from what people have said, he seemed to be fair. And the reason why I'm thinking he's going to be let off, for one, the judge don't want to look like he got dirty hands either, because in the original bail hearing, what the government said is he was contacting, people. All of that is removed now. He wasn't convicted of that. So all of that stuff that, where they were saying he was contacting witnesses, he wasn't found guilty of that stuff. There's no reason that he need to contact those people. So I feel like he's going to have to get out. Like, all of the reasons that they held him before, he's not guilty of those. So the judge gonna have a hard time not letting this man out on bail. He's gonna have a very hard time. And if he, decides to keep him in, it is gonna look a little weird, okay? And I hope she keeps that same energy when she gets sued. Yes, y'all heard that too. I heard that some SEX workers are saying that they're going to be suing Cassie, allegedly. I don't know if it's true, but I did hear that. Well, y'all, we're going to come back then at 5. I actually started the live because I assumed that they were going to be doing this today at 1 o'clock or 1:30 or sometime around there. So that's why I kind of jumped on. But now since they changed it, I guess we're gonna come back at 5 o'clock. Kay said, we are living in times where certain things no longer matter. When they elected Trump, because I sure didn't vote for him. When they elected Trump, the moral compass for this country dropped tremendously. Let Diddy out today. I'm not a fan of him, but this beating the government based on the people's vote, I love. Right. I'm definitely not a fan of him, but you saying you're okay. So he was put in jail. They gave him these charges. Okay. He sat in jail the whole time. He beat all of the most serious crimes. Y'all can't keep holding this man based on some shit that you can't say anymore because he was not, he was found not guilty. You can't say, oh, he's going to, reach out to the witnesses because he was found not guilty. He was found not guilty. So he don't need to reach out to them. You said guilty. Well, girl, I don't know what you watched because he was only guilty of 2. Of course, we gonna, have the people who I don't understand though. Why is it that some people are so wanting Diddy to go to jail as if they know him, as if they had an experience with him? Like, that is a different level of delusion. I could not be so invested in somebody that I never met to the fact that I want them to go to jail when they have been found not guilty. What's that? I'm kind of confused. I don't know what that is. That's just too much. I mean, y'all got to let the legal system play out. Now, if they'd have came back and said he was guilty, I would have been like, dang, you know what I mean? Because it is what it is. It is what it is, but he's not guilty. Y'all got to let this man live. Like, you have family, you probably have sons, you have those. What if this was your family member? How would you feel then? Y'all got to be careful for the things that y'all put out for other people, because it may come back to you and your household. So I'll see y'all at 5.